microphones and just talk about it, right? Anybody have any questions? We can close it.
Okay.
Hey, Brian?
Yes, sir.
So public hearings, we're doing
We're on
three.
live now, Christina.
So, public hearings, we got three.
And then they linked to my mom so she can watch me Costa Rica, so I have to show her.
That's so
Watch
cool.
now.
And then over to
That's neat that she can do that.
Wait,
Yeah.
one is for the parking for the rest.
all over. So
Huh,
then
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would close all of them. And then we just have to make sure we
Okay,
that has to be adopted first.
okay.
And, yeah.
So open, close,
Yeah,
open, close, and go right to the.
Here,
Yeah.
the rest be here, then we close.
Yeah, as long as it's number four. We're in good shape, let's just approve that one. Okay, let me open it.
How do you guys pass budget in 5 minutes?
Okay, you ready?
Alright, yeah.
You
I'm
figure,
gonna just-
I'll figure it out.
Okay. Go ahead, go.
Okay, good evening. I would like to open the regularly scheduled village board meeting for April 9th, 2025. I would like to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First things first.
Do the roll call or do the swear in?
Nope, we gotta swear you in first.
Knock it out. So we're all gonna go up front, we're gonna,
Tonight we have Mayor Hallie, trustee Larry, and trustee Beth. Mayor Hallie, you go first.
I, Thomas Howley, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of mayor of the village of Greenwood Lake for a 2-year term. Thank you.
Trustee Polari, you're up next.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's good.
Please raise your hand.
You guys are doing such a great job.
I place here do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee for a 2-year term. So help me God.
Okay, trustee Beth.
I, Matthew Veth, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee 2-year term according to the best of my ability.
Okay, welcome aboard. Good stuff, thanks guys. Family, get out of the way. Let me get out of the way.
Did you bring Marie up too? I'm good, so you can bring Marie up?
Sorry.
This is important.
Thank you, Ben.
Matt and Marie?
Okey-doke. Now that that's all official, we'll move on. Okay, we're gonna open up with, I'd like to have a motion, we open up a public hearing to consider amendment to Chapter 100, Article 3 concerning tax exemption of volunteer firefighters and ambulance members.
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Seconded.
Okay. We have Celia and Beth.
Okay.
All aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, this tax exemption, really what we're doing is bringing up our first responders to 2025. It brings their little stipend that they collect after 20 years. There was a little glitch in it that when a member retired after honorably serving for many, many years, they still had to perform certain duties, which is kind of not what retiring is about. So basically, we just fixed this. We have had public hearings on it. We explained it all. Is there any open comment from anybody in the audience regarding this law, proposed law? Okay. At this time, there is no public comment, and I would like to entertain a motion that we close this public hearing for Chapter 100.
I'll make the motion to close public hearing on this item.
Seconded.
Celia, Beth. Okay?
Public hearing number 2, which we did bring up at the last public hearing. This is to consider the adoption of a local law authorizing a property tax levy in excess of the limit established in general municipal law, which is 2%.
We'll have to close it.
I'm sorry?
You have to ask them to open up the public hearing.
Okay, so we're opening up the public hearing.
I'll make the motion, Mayor, to
Oh, I
open the
apologize.
public hearing.
Okay,
Seconded.
All right, Beth, go ahead.
all right. Again, this authorizes the village to a property tax levy in excess of the limit established in the general municipal law, which is 2%. We spoke about it in the past, taxes are gonna go up a little, and we're gonna exceed that limit. We need this local law to continue to do that. Is there any comment from the public regarding that? Trustees, have any comment?
No, do
And
this
they
every year.
pass this law every year.
Yeah,
And
every
and
year
this,
we do.
and this law is
Yeah.
passed every year. It's just something that we have to do.
Just one question, is it actually 2%? I know it's like a calculation, is it actually 2 or is it around 2? Not that we have to get into numbers, I'm just curious.
It's a,
It's around
it's
two.
around
It's
two.
around two,
It's
okay.
around two. Anything from the public? I'll consider this closed. Do I have a motion that we close this public hearing regarding general municipal law regarding
I'll make that
property tax?
motion.
Okay, Beth,
I'll second.
okay. Larry? All aye?
All right.
Aye.
Now I'd like to make a motion, we open a public hearing regarding the proposed budget for fiscal year 2025, 2026.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Beth? Okay, Trezino? All aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, basically, the budget's been worked on with the Board of Trustees, village clerk, deputy clerk, and obviously our accountant, our CPA. We've had countless hours of preparation for this budget. We've had public hearings, spoke about it. We've had no input from the public thus far. And like everything else in life right now, things are going up. We truly worked hard, and I would like to say that I'm proud that we were able to keep it at 4.57, an increase. And I do know it's an increase, but everything from waste removal to insurance to the price of eggs. We all go grocery shopping. And we feel that this is about as tight as we could get it to continue to function as a village and still provide the services that everybody expects and deserves. So, does anybody on the board have any questions regarding this? I know we spoke about it
Yep.
a lot. Hearing none, anybody from the public have any questions regarding this? Thank you, Clerk. Actually, this budget, up until last week, was 2 points higher, but through negotiations with IWS, their original number came in, a little high, but, they have their bills, so it wasn't a back and forth thing, but they understood our needs and what our abilities are, and they did take less money from us in order to provide this number at 4.5. So, again, it did take work. It just doesn't happen. A lot of pencils, a lot of computer work, and this is where we're at. I believe everybody on the board is satisfied where we're at. We always try to look positive towards the future, and hopefully, as we move on, we can find other avenues of revenue that will help with the expense line. So, hearing nothing from the public and nothing more from the trustees, I would entertain a motion to close this budget hearing.
I make a motion, we close the budget hearing.
Okay. Clues, Beth, Trezino, all aye?
Aye.
Okay, typically, we would go into a little bit of a workshop, but at this point in time, I would like to open up our regularly scheduled board meeting. Would that be a motion, Kathleen, or would we just open it up?
No, we already opened.
We already opened, so we're good on that. So anyway, we'll discuss agenda items and anything else that is brought up. So we're right into the main meeting now. Okay, some announcements. Burn ban. Burn ban is in effect till May 16th. We almost had, not almost, we did have an incident about 10 days ago up on off Lakes Road. Little combustion up there. Fire department responded immediately, and they were able to contain it in about 2 or 3 hours. Typically, we wouldn't think that was anything super important, but coming off of what happened to us in November, you can imagine that we're all still a little edgy on fires in the woods. So to everyone out there, please be cognizant when you do your spring cleanups that the ban is in effect, and be careful doing anything with fire until we get the burn ban is lifted and we get maybe a wet spring that will help keep those leaves from being too combustible. Refrigeration recycling. Everyone's been asking about appliance recycling. I'm proud to say that the Lions Club has spearheaded a refrigeration drive that is going on in the village of Greenwood Lake this Saturday from 11 to 2. 70 Elm Street, right past Lions Field.
Sunday.
I apologize.
Sorry.
Thank you. The 13th. Sunday, back by the DPW. It's 11 to 2. Now, they're basically only taking smaller things. Regular size air conditioners. This is what I was told. There are 4 dates that the town of Warwick DPW will be receiving big ticket items, refrigerators, freezers, central air conditioners, the real big stuff. So my understanding is this week at our facility, the smaller stuff, dehumidifiers, humidifiers, ACs, whatever has that refrigerant in it. You have to get it down there. I'm sure there'll be help down there if you need assistance getting it out of your car. I am also working with the county recycling coordinator to try to have an electronics fair, the same thing. I know it's hard to get rid of televisions, old VCRs, et cetera, So that's in the works. I don't have anything further on that, but we're trying to get that going.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
we don't have dates on the town of Warwick yet.
We do. It's on our website.
It's on our,
We have it
on
on
our Facebook page too.
Facebook website. And actually, you can go. I don't want to speak because I know Chester is having one this Saturday also for big stuff. But I really don't know at this time if it's just for Chester residents. I know for a fact, obviously, Greenwood Lake is us, and the town of Warwick DPW is us. So I would stick to those two locations. And for the one in the town, there are 2 or 3. So it's, if you miss a day, there is an extra date. Just what they're asking is, just don't go up there and dump something on a day that it's not in place, but someone is gonna have to move it for you. So we'll go on our website, call Village Hall, and we'll give you those exact dates for the town-wide dump.
The Warwick DPW one is Monday, April 14th from 3 p.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Okay, so April 14th, 3 to 6, and I think there's a Sunday involved
And
at the
then
end.
the next one is Tuesday, April 22nd from 3 to 6:30. And then Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to noon.
So there's 3 in the town of Warwick, which is us. So I actually have a big ticket item personally that I was concerned with, but then when I read that it's gonna be up there, so you can get rid of anything with refrigerants. Old time baseball game. If you remember when the Centennial Committee up and running last year, they had an old time baseball game. I believe it was to like reenact from like the 1900s with Babe Ruth and what. Got rained out. They want to consider doing it again. The date that was brought up was June 14th, which is the same day as our street fair. I kind of think it might work, but I want to talk to the chamber and find out what the consensus of opinion is regarding if it would be too much for one day parking. So there's a couple little caveats in that, but we're trying to pull that off. I'll talk to the former treasurer of the Centennial Committee to see how they're paying for it. Correspondence is attached. All the trustees have the ability to see that, and if anyone has any questions, we will answer, but at this point in time, it's everything's attached, and we can go over whatever resolutions later that will be addressing this. Okay, visiting elected officials. I do not see Floyd D'Angelo and no one else. So now we'll bring up reports of boards and department heads. Brendan Colasar is not here, but I'll speak for him. He might come a little. I'll put him on hold. DPW. Bill Rowe, Town of Warwick, DPW. If you could, I ask if we can come up here, but only because of volume issues with the. No, not you don't have to rush. But with anybody that intends to speak, it just gives the people at home better audio.
Hopefully spring is here. We've had a few trees down. Luckily, no water breaks in the last 3 weeks. We've been doing cold patch leaves. Hopefully in another week or so, we're gonna have the asphalt plant should open up, and we have several projects we're gonna do for the roads here. And the rainy days, we've been working in the shop, and that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, for those listening, we do realize Bill has been out all over the village. He knows the hot spots as far as what needs to be addressed, but it makes zero sense to use cold patch on some of these projects. It will not take. It won't work. We understand your plight, but in a week or two, once we get the warm, hot asphalt, that's when they can be properly fixed. We don't want to do it, half baked. We want to do it correctly the first time. This way
We
you're in
have
good
several
shape.
water breaks through the winter, and they're
Right.
sinking.
Yeah,
And we know about them. We gotta wait for the hot stuff.
Got you.
Because the cold patch won't stick.
exactly. So
They break right up.
give us a little more patience and,
It'll be another week or 10 days. They're gonna be open.
okay, great. Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Police, I see Sergeant Danny Jones here.
Good afternoon. Sergeant Jones here reporting on behalf of Chief Iron. First and foremost, we want to say congratulations, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vest, Ms. Polari, on your respective titles. We look forward to working with you in the future. So the Department of Statistics for the month of March, we handled 1,185 blotter reports. We conducted 401 traffic stops, issued 186 traffic summonses, handled 4 motor vehicle accidents, issued 2 parking summonses, responded to 73 check the welfare / assist citizen calls, along with 30 medical aided calls, and a total of 5 arrests were executed. There was no use of force incidents to report for the month of March. Our statistically shown response times for March stayed the same, approximately 4 minutes. We have no personnel changes, no FTO completions. We do have quite a number of upcoming initiatives with the community. Our PBA Easter egg hunt will be held on Saturday, April 19th at 10 a.m. sharp. If attending, please plan to be there by 9:50 a.m. and we will start promptly at 10 a.m. Our annual bicycle rodeo is slated to be held at the Greenwood Lake Police Department, located at 16 Church Street, on Saturday, May 17th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And our fishing derby will be held at Senator Moorhan Park, located at 7 Windermere Ave, on Saturday, June 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Greenwood Lake Little League is holding their opening day parade and ceremony on Saturday, April 12th. The parade will kick off at 9 a.m. and head south on Windermere Ave from Chase Bank to Elm Street. They'll be ultimately ending at the Lions Field. Please drive carefully and be mindful of the children in and around the roadway, and expect some congestion between the hours of 8:45 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. in these locations. The annual Greenwood Lake Street Fair will be held Saturday, June 14th. As usual, Windermere Avenue will be closed just south of Chestnut Street to Jersey Ave from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. And again, please expect some congestion in and around these areas. Grants. The DCJS equipment grant for 2025. We did receive final approval and our award letter for $400,000. The funds will be used for patrol vehicles and a new patrol vessel, all of which will be outfitted with the necessary equipment to operate safely. We did receive final approval for the Youth Bureau grant in the amount of $12,300, and this will require a resolution and signature for the release of the funds. The budget transfers, the chief wanted me to report the budget transfer requests were submitted to the Village Hall. On top of that, we're noting that we are currently on track and projected to come in under our allocated budget for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Public correspondences. We have an update in the area of enforcement concerning Edgemere Avenue. We began heavy traffic enforcement on 3/1/2025. Since then, we've conducted 93 traffic stops and issued a total of 48 summonses in that area. We will continue to be vigilant and show a strong presence in the area. That is the end of my report. If anybody has any questions or concerns.
No, I'd just like to thank the police department as a whole and the PBA, their union. They truly engage in the community between the Easter egg hunt and bicycle rodeos. It doesn't go unnoticed. The people see it and they appreciate it. That's why you're so loved.
Thank you.
Even though you gave out 48 summonses on Edgemere Avenue, whatever the number is.
Gotta curb that
But
stuff.
thank you. And just on another note, the boater safety course that he was talking about is rapidly filling up. They only have, I think, 12, 13 spots maybe for the next one, because as most people know, New York State has mandated everyone has to have this course to operate a vessel in New York. So if it's something you need, call up. If we have to add classes, we certainly will. Thank you. Thank you, Sergeant Jones. Water. Phil couldn't be here this evening. Kathleen's going to read the water report, and I might add a thing or two.
Water project report for March, April 2025. For the month of March, the department has been handling daily, weekly, and monthly sampling, testing, and reporting, along with utility markouts and all distribution system related responsibilities and issues. The number 1 clear well at the treatment plant has been pumped out and flushed and is almost ready to be placed back in service. Our number 2 filter unit is having performance issues again. Our operatives found a backwash valve that is not closing 100%, causing a flow of system pressure water to be feeding up into the downflow filter during normal operation. The filter has been taken offline. Our operatives adjusted the valve to close and are waiting for an opportune time to test the filter again to see if this was the culprit creating the performance issues. The flow meter for number 1 filter unit is no longer registering, causing the filter influent valve to stay 100% open, which is preventing constant flow and steady operation. Our operators are manually throttling water to the filter until the flow meter is replaced, which should be sometime tomorrow or Friday. Water is on to the Lions Field concession stand and bathrooms, and the startup of seasonal water is scheduled to begin Monday in the hopes of having all systems fully operational by April 1st.
On Phil's note, we have everyone knows we've had in the making for the last couple of years our rehabilitation of our water treatment facility plant. Everything has been complete as far as engineering. The plans have been all forwarded to Department of Health for their approval. They've been up there probably for about a month now. It could take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. We're optimistic that we could get started sometime before the summer. The engineering firm has spent many, many hours, and everything is up there now. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that that goes somewhat smoothly. Our Parks Department, Brendan isn't here. He might come in a little bit later. But anyway, obviously this is crunch time for us in the Parks Department. Little League is opening up Saturday. So fields, mowing, moving dirt, fixing fencing. There's 1,000 things that goes on to make a Little League and bring our parks up to speed. I know it's been cold lately, so we're not really concerned with the beach, but the beach season is not too far off, and it takes a lot of preparation. Brendan and his new crew, we're in the middle of interviewing for an open position due to Ed Bilello's leaving. They work very hard. They do the best they can to keep everything aesthetically pleasing as best they can. If you see things out there that we can miss, and we're only human, please call Village Hall. We do our best to respond to these things, whether it be the town DPW or the Parks Department. So thank you, Brendan, and whoever your new crew is going to be. Okay. On another page.
Here.
Yep. Okay, so let's have some trustee reports, and first up will be newly elected trustee Thais Polari. I will get into the reorg in a few minutes when we do a resolution, but everybody up here, some might give their old responsibilities, some might give their new ones. So, Thais, you're up.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. First, I want to say thank you to everyone who supported us, Matt, Tom, and myself, and to the board for welcoming me, and especially to Clerk Holder for all her support and guidance during this process. I also want to express my appreciation to Trustee Kelly Kelm for the years of dedication to the village. I know I have big shoes to fill, and I promise to give this role my full effort, and I send all my best to her and to her family. I have been assigned liaisons to the Chamber of Commerce, the library, the school district, and the Senior Citizen Center, and these are my updates. The Chamber hosted a successful spring mixer on April 2nd at Murphy's. It was a wonderful opportunity to network, support your local businesses. Guests from the West Milford Chamber of Commerce also attended, as both chambers are exploring new ideas and potential partnerships. Looking ahead, the Chamber will host its annual street fair on June 14. As always, it's promised to be a fun and lively event. Vendors are encouraged to apply. Another exciting initiative is the first ever Greenwood Lake Restaurant Week, taking place November 3rd to the 9th. More details will be shared soon, but it is a great opportunity to highlight our excellent local restaurants and build community. The Chamber will also be hosting its first comedy show in July. More information is upcoming. And they will have ribbon-cutting ceremonies for 2 new businesses in the village, the Fools and the Flips on May 1st, and Karen's Cafe on May 3rd. Please visit the Chamber's website for more details on these events. As for the Greenwood Lake Public Library, on April 18, the library will welcome Representative Carl Bravenek for a brief visit with the team. The library is preparing for a ramp replacement project to improve access to the wide room. Incoming programs include a science workshop from the Mid-Hudson Discovery Museum, cooking sessions for teens, music, poetry, and art programs for adults. The annual budget vote will take place on Thursday, May 15, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the library. All registered voters for the Greenwood Lake School District are eligible to vote. A public hearing on the library's proposed budget will be held on Friday, May 2nd, from 1 to 3 p.m. also at the library. The budget will be posted online after April 18. For questions, please contact the library if you need more information on these events. The Greenwood Lake School District.
The next school board meeting will be held on Thursday, April 24th at 6 p.m. in the middle school cafeteria. Spring break will take place from April 14th to April 21st. That's always fun for the kids. The 8th grade will travel to Washington, D.C. from April 30th to May the 2nd on their annual trip. And 8th grade graduation will take place on Friday, June the 21st. As for the Senior Citizen Center, on April 17, the center will take a trip to the Riverview Inn for lunch and an Elvis theme show. On April 28, the Greenwood Lake Junior Honor Society will join the center for a trivia game and pizza party. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Thais. Trustee Celia.
Thank you, Mayor. Back on the building department after so many years. Nice. So I'll begin with the building department, covering the activity in the month of March. The first update is a notice from the building department that there are a new fee schedule which can be found on the village website. You go to our village website and you go under the directory and go to the building department. On the building department landing page, you will find that website. There are new fees for most services that are offered through the building department. Applicants should check fee amounts before sending in payment for applications or scheduling inspections. So that is the notice out from the building department. In the month of March, they collected $11,018. It's interesting, the activity has picked up, and the cost of construction, which leads directly to those fees, just for the month of March, which was submitted, was a little over $500,000. So activity is picking up improvements that people are doing in the village. 80% of those fees were from building permits and permit renewals. Building permits, so this is now activity of our building, the building inspector itself, closed out 18 permits in the month of March, 13 certificates of compliance, and 5 certificates of occupancy. So obviously he's very busy out and about. There were 4 complaints that resulted in 2 issuances of violations, one for unregistered vehicle and one for fire inspection. The ZBA and Planning Board did not meet in the month of March, as there were no applicants. They did meet in April 8th, yesterday, 1 applicant, 582 Jersey Avenue. In the next month's report, I will report back on the outcome of that meeting. There's a scheduled meeting at the moment for April 22nd, but that'll be dependent on applicants that are submitted, or if there's follow-up from the applicant from April 8th. Comprehensive Plan Committee met on March 31st. As a committee, we reviewed 7 proposed areas of focus that will be addressed in the comp plan, and these areas were put together by a professional planner from an initial visioning session with the committee. An example of an area of focus is transportation and pedestrian safety. A second one is family and housing. A third one is economic development. Again, there's 7, just giving examples of 3 of them that are being proposed now as areas of focus. We established subcommittees. What we did was we consolidated these 7 areas of focus into 4, just for the purpose of having enough committee members on these subcommittees to actually do the work that we're tasked to do. Each subcommittee was initially staffed for what we call sort of a division of labor, sort of talent and also interest. And the next step for the Comprehensive Plan Committee is to build out a survey that will then be disseminated to the community to gather the public's input on these areas of focus, or proposed areas of focus, and other areas of interest to the community. The actual logistics of how this survey will go out and how information will be gathered is being worked on. Our next committee meeting is scheduled for April 28th. That ends my report.
Thank you, Trustee Cellier. Trustee Vet?
Skip Truzino.
Oh, Truzino, I'm sorry. Who's up next, Truzino? Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee John Truzino.
Good evening, Greenwood Lake. Regarding public safety, I reached out to representatives of all of our emergency services regarding the monthly activity. Sergeant Jones has already delivered the monthly report for the police department. The Greenwood Lake PD has not reported any issues to me that are outstanding right now, so I believe that everything's great, right, Dan? All right. The Greenwood Lake Ambulance Corps reported that for the month of March, they handled a total of 42 calls. As a reminder, anybody that wishes to follow the Greenwood Lake Ambulance Corps on Instagram can see for themselves updates for new events and things like that they have coming up, as well as monthly call volume data. The Greenwood Lake Ambulance Corps also reports no issues. I didn't receive any information from the Greenwood Lake Fire Department regarding the month of March, but they did not report any issues. Last, just to touch on what Mayor Howley has already brought up with the New York State burn ban, I do get some questions on this, so just a couple of extra tidbits on that. The ban includes any and all open residential brush or debris burning, uncontained campfires, and open fires used for cooking until May. According to the governor's statement, this is where everybody's always asking for information. So according to the governor, backyard fire pits and contained campfires less than 3 feet in height and 4 feet in diameter are allowed, as are small constrained cooking fires. So don't go bigger than that, and please use common sense, even when staying within those parameters. On a windy day, all it takes is one ember, as we all know. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Trezino. Now, Trustee Vett.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Starting, we have initial contact for our community charity, community-wide charity tournament and field day. It's going to be Saturday, September 21st, and I'm trying to get every organization, business, everybody involved in this, so it's going to be a community-wide day. Some news coming from some of the organizations. The Legion, they are running a 300 club, and they are going to have a picnic and draw the winner on July 4th, Friday, July 4th. The Elks are running a Yankee ticket giveaway. 4 tickets, good seats, access to the Delta Club, and parking passes. I'll have more information, and I can tell people where to go to get tickets at our next meeting. And my new assignment is going to be a technology review for the village. It's what I do, so we've had complaints about audio on this meeting. Hopefully that's been addressed tonight. If not, we'll be coming in and I'll be checking microphones and telephones and computers and anything that we have problems with technology, internet access, internet issues, and so on. And that's my report for now.
So based on his last statement, Matt's a keeper, because we certainly could use someone with a high acumen of technology. It's always necessary. Thank you, Matt. Attorney Nugent, anything?
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing public, just happy to report that, not that there were many litigations against the village, but of the few we've had, within a week or two should be resolved, and
Okay.
you'll have nothing pending, so that's
Okay.
good news.
And at that time, when, there are a couple of things in the hopper, too early just yet to expound upon it, because we haven't signed off on anything, but we will have some information regarding that. Thank you, Attorney Nugent. Clerk Holder, your report.
Water bills, originally they're due for April 11th, but we did extend it to April 17th because they did get lost in the mail for about a week. So if you do not have them in and paid by April 17th, there will be an additional charge for it being late, but we did extend it by 1 week. If you do see any type of potholes and stuff, don't just assume that we kind of know where it is. If you just give us a call at 845-477-9215, extension 1, we'll make sure it's on the list for DPW to get out there when they're patching everything up. Taxes will be coming out at the end of May. You have to the end of June to pay that before that has an additional charge on that. If you have anything that you need, please just call us. Myself, Holly, and Mitzi will be happy to help. End of my report.
Thank you, Clerk Holder. Just on a couple of little things, leaf pickup, we're gonna continue our leaf pickup village-wide on Thursdays. We enter into an agreement with the Village of Florida. They have a truck. We haven't got finished with that yet, but the leaf pickup is still on for Thursdays. We're doing it in-house with our DPW people. We're also going to keep, at least through the month of April, the Saturday 9 to noon access to the DPW dump by Lions Field. We have a person there, just making sure that you live in the village and not commercial. So anybody that has brush, leaves, and you have the means to drive it in on a Saturday, you can, at least through the end of the month. But if not, bagged. If you have brush, it has to be twined up so it's accessible to the workers. They can't run around with rakes. That's that. Farmers Market had a meeting about 2 hours ago at the Farmers Market. That is going to be May 31st. This is going to be their first meeting to the end of October. Obviously, they're back at the same spot, right in the middle of town by Winstanley Park. The vendors better than ever. A couple of new ones. 1 or 2 aren't coming back. But the way the manager, Karen Wintro, explained it, we'll have good produce, good fruit, and other little goodies here and there. So Farmers Market is up and running. We also have a compost pile for food that you can bring your food, and it'll go into a bucket, and that'll be taken care of, recycled as best we can. That's done by, Grow Local, Greenwood Lake sponsors that event. They're trying to make it nice. They're going to have a little music when they can, a little one person, to play a little, guitar, clarinet, whatever it is, to make it appealing to everybody. So I ask everyone, please take advantage of it. It's right in town. The food is always fabulous. There's good sustainable stuff that's grown locally. So take part in the farmers market. Warwick 250 committee. The Warwick 250 committee is next year. For those of you that aren't paying attention, is a 250th anniversary of our country, and Warwick is planning a town-wide celebration. Trustee Polari was already on it before she became a trustee, and also Trustee Trezino's expressed interest. So they're going to be our representatives on this committee, and collaborating for ideas. What part can we do to help the town? They're looking to do parades, fireworks, all that good stuff. And something like that, it takes a year to plan. So they're 18 months out. And it sounds very early, but it truly isn't. So something of that magnitude takes a lot of logistics, a lot of moving parts. So Trustee Polari and Trezino will represent our side of the mountain on this committee, and report back to the public as things start progressing. Trustee Jones, Easter egg hunt, April 19th, 10 a.m. Boater safety course, like we spoke about earlier. Call the police department or Village Hall, and we'll get you in the right spot if you need to get on that list for the next boater safety course. Street fair is June 14th. Spoke about that a lot. Lastly, we have a geese harassment program. A couple of years ago, we implemented a program where people who have dogs can walk their dogs on the beach in order to deter the geese population. It's done when the beach is not open to the public as a swimming beach. Right now, it's just a park, so you can go down there, and you have to register your dog, register with the Village Hall, so we know who's down there doing what. Please obviously clean up after your dog, because that's the whole reason they're there, is so we don't have to clean up after geese. So this program, if you have any questions on it, call again, Village Hall, and if it's something that might, pique your interest, we'll get you in the right direction. That's all I have on the new business. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. I went in reverse. I should have did a little old business. But anyway, comp plan. Trustee Trustee Cellier spoke about. Beach passes. Beach passes are up and running. If you come in for your beach pass now, I think we said May 15th is the early bird special. Anything after May 15th, the prices increase. So if you're inclined to use the beach this summer, try to do it before May 15th. You won't get the passes immediately. They'll be waiting for you on opening day, which is the Memorial Day Saturday. The beach passes will be picked up down at the beach. Lifeguards, we're in pretty decent shape. Our lifeguard manager of the beach has done a dynamite job in recruiting young adults to service the beach as lifeguards. These kids are 15, 16, 17, up to 23 years old, and I always tell them when I speak to them, I said, you're all very young, but this might be, depending on what you do in life, this could be the most responsibility you ever have. They take it very seriously, as we all do. We just want to have happy and safe seasons. So these people get trained, but we're in pretty good shape. But if you're a lifeguard and you're out there, we're always looking to have extra ones. So again, reach out to Village Hall and we can get you in the right direction with that. Lake treatment. This is going to be a tricky year with lake treatment. New York State Department of Environmental Conservation pretty much changed the playing field on a lot of things, including herbicide treatment, dredging, weed harvesting, the things that we use to maintain our lake, to keep boaters safe and to deal with invasive species like milfoil and water chestnuts. Sometimes I really don't understand the great length they go to make things difficult for municipalities in order to achieve these things. But they do. They have their reasoning, I guess. Basically, everything is now considered a wetlands. When you have a wetland status, it used to be smaller, swampy areas. Now they've pretty much designated anything with water a wetlands. It's going. Typically, you might get 10 people putting in for a wetland permit a year to treat that particular body of water. This year, they're expecting in the neighborhood of 400 to 500 because everything now has basically been designated a wetlands. I don't want to say we were on point. We had our permits in on time. We're all ready to do what we've been doing by mid-May to end of May, which would have been perfect for our season. I can't sit here and tell you definitively when that's going to happen, if it happens, and why it won't happen. But believe me, Matt was on the Lake Commission. I'm involved in it daily. Jim Martin, who's our current Lake Commission representative, who knows as much about this stuff as anybody I met. We've had countless meetings, and we're working with engineers, the state, and the state is receptive, but their hands are tied, and they truly don't even know. They're not even sure when they try to explain things to us. So everything right now is kind of up in the air as far as the lake treatment. Obviously, at our next meeting, which is in 4 or 5 weeks, we'll have a lot more, hopefully, to get into as far as the lake treatment. So I'm cautiously optimistic. And that concludes old business. I'm going to read through events. Youth Center, scheduled Tuesday nights, located at the Community Center, 51 Waterstone Road, 4 to 6 p.m. for 2nd to 5th graders, 6 to 8 p.m. for 6th to 8th graders. Zoning Board meets, tentative dates, April 8th, which they did, and April 22nd, located in Village Hall, 18 Church Street at 7:30. Greenwood Lake Little League opening day is this Saturday, April 12th. Like the Sergeant Jones said, Windermere Avenue by Chase, walking to Lions Field. That starts at 9 a.m. the recycling drive. It's called the Coolest Recycling Drive. That's Sunday the 13th, 70 Elm by the DPW, 11 to 2. Again, voter safety course, April 15th and 16th. That's right here in this courthouse. Congressman Pat Ryan's Service Academy informational session. If you have a young adult who is potentially looking to go to any one of our service academies, they're having a session Saturday, April 26th at SUNY Orange from 11 to 2. I would recommend, even if your son or daughter is a sophomore, if they show interest in possibly wanting to attend a service academy, you want to be 2 or 3 years out on at least doing your due diligence and research. And so that'll be the 26th, SUNY Orange. The annual Orange County Veterans Picnic and Resource Fair is Saturday, May 3rd, Thomas Bull Memorial Park. Any veteran that would like to go, obviously go. If you have particular needs, they're going to have counselors up there, resource personnel to help you get through whatever issues you might be having. So this is for vets on May 3rd. Grace Lutheran Church will be holding their annual shredding event. That'll be Saturday, May 17th, located right at the church between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12 noon. They've been doing this for a couple of years now. Their prices are very fair, and if you have a lot of old things, it's a great way to securely shred them so you can keep your privacy. That's all I have under events. We will now open the privilege to the floor for any items. Anybody in the public want to say anything? Ms. Marilyn Hayden, our village historian, would like to say something.
Hello, everybody. I want to keep you up to date on what's happening. On April 27th in Highland Mills, sponsored by the Highland Mills Historical Society, is an event called 50 People Who Have Impacted Southeast Orange County. And so, and we are going to participate. This is the second year they have had an event. The first year was last year, and the topic was artifacts. And apparently, we did not participate because we didn't know about it, but we know now. And everybody will have a table. It runs from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. We will have 1 or 2 tables, depending upon what you have. We are choosing 5 people from your area, your village, and they are putting on foam board. Everybody will have the same thing. You're entitled to 1 page only on your person, and it will be laid out, and then the foam board paper will be given back to us. So if in your own town you wish to have an exhibit of some sort, you can use it. We are also going to bring pictures, photos, books, any information you have. My 5 people that I have chosen, I am sure you are not going to be surprised at. The first is Jasper Cropsey, but I am not taking it just for the person alone and what they've done. I'm looking at each of these in a larger focus. And in terms of Jasper Cropsey, the larger focus is he who did over 100 works of art of Greenwood Lake, as well as his fellow Hudson River School painters, brought America to Americans. People were absolutely shocked by the natural beauty beyond the cities. And because of that, it eventually fueled a desire by people to see it, and it brought on tourism. They actually are all, as a group, credited with creating tourism in the United States because, well, I won't go into the details. The second thing I wanted to say about Jasper Cropsey is that he did not just influence people about places like Greenwood Lake in the area or in the United States. He was very popular outside the country. In fact, if you happen to be going to Spain and you are in Madrid, the National Museum has in room 31 on permanent exhibit a painting by Jasper Cropsey entitled Greenwood Lake. So we've gone beyond local. My second choice is Langston Hughes. And Langston Hughes is a famous writer, poet, social activist, and a leader of the Harlem Renaissance, who of course came to Greenwood Forest Farms. This is incredibly important on the larger scale because it actually influences what happens next, and that is because of Greenwood Forest Farms, the population of Greenwood Lake became very, you have to remember this is during the growth, it's 1919 when it started. It's to the growth of the Jim Crow laws that were beginning to get more and more crazy. And what happened was that people here in Greenwood Lake became accustomed, not necessarily social friends with everybody, but accustomed to meeting people in the stores, down the streets, and it became a very friendly atmosphere that when Joe Murchio opened his training camp for boxers, what was important about that camp was that it was not based on race for the first time. And that particular camp sort of broke a barrier for that changed everything for the athletic world in sports in training because of that camp. And of course that leads me to my choice, which was Joe Louis. And I chose Joe Louis, who actually started his training in Pompton Lakes. And his trainer there has been viewed as one of the top 10 trainers in boxing forever. And he put rowing as a key component of the training, which of course is why Greenwood Lake became famous as a training place for boxers, because you could go out and row. And Joe Louis endeared everybody in Greenwood Lake when he was out rowing one day and a canoe tipped over and somebody was struggling, and he was able to get there very quickly and helped pull the person out of the water. So the idea is that rowing actually for him became a lifesaver. So let's see, so I've done 3 people there. My fourth one is Jocko, the talking crow. And of course his handler, Bob Garner. I chose Jocko, and I'm going to take, who has been stuffed and is in the library, I'm taking that with me to show everybody, because it represents the fact that there was an art colony here in Greenwood Lake that was made up of vaudeville people. And the thing about Jocko, he was famous for being the $50,000 crow. Now we are talking about, again, 1920. Jocko was found as a baby crow, and his handler, Bob Garner, ended up teaching him all kinds of things, juggling, and he used to play catch with the audience. And of course he could talk. He had vocabulary of 25 words. It made a hit all around the world because people were astounded by this whole act, and ended up bringing a lot of fame to Greenwood Lake because of that. So that's why I have Jocko. And the last one is the outlier. And that's because most of you probably have never heard of Ann Morgan. Ann Morgan was the founder of Camp Incoa. Which was for professional women, founded in 1915. And what's important about this was you had to be 18 years old and working. Most camps are not like that at all. They're for kids, but this was completely different. And Anne was the daughter of J.P. Morgan and the sister of J.P. Morgan Jr. Both, I didn't even know there was a junior, but apparently both of them, because we kind of meld them all into one personality, but there were two J.P. Morgans. The interesting thing about Anne is that she probably never came into downtown Greenwood Lake. But the influence her camp had, which was founded in 1915, on women, the purpose of the camp was to provide women the possibilities to enter the world of the modern woman. She was not exactly a suffragette. She really didn't care about it, and she was not really going to go out there and agitate to get the vote. She was leaving that to everybody else. Her point of view was that working women, their conditions need to be improved, their working conditions, their salaries needed to be improved, and their opportunities needed to be improved. So even with all the games that they played and the boating and the swimming and all that stuff, they also had very serious lectures, which was to help them to become a modern woman. And however, about 2 years after women got the right to vote, the camp closed. So in a way, it kind of achieved what it was looking to achieve. So those are my 5 choices.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn, and thank you for the time and effort you put into that. I'm sure you had a much larger list that you had to cull, so appreciate your time and effort in that and representing Greenwood Lake. That's great.
Lisa had, I think, you had one more.
Oh, okay. Let me say
Oh, I'm sorry.
next.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were moving on. My apologies.
Next, Lisa Milano.
Sorry, man.
No problem. I'll bring it. Hey, Lisa.
Congrats, guys, being with you. I just wanted to clarify one thing on the village calendar. I think it's wrong for the Greenwood Lake Commission meeting. It's, I think, on the 15th and not the 23rd of this month.
Commission.
The Greenwood Lake Commission, the Lake Commission.
The Lake Commission.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check. I'll
We'll
check
work
with
on
Jim.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the floor? Clerk Holder, we just received our Parks Department's report in addition to what I spoke about, so she'll give Brendan Colasar's quick report.
Okay, they worked on village-wide garbage and litter collection throughout the village. They began spring cleanups on village-owned properties, outside Village Hall, across the street in the municipal lot, etc. Removed, inspected, and put away holiday decorations. Did repairs in the DPW buildings. Did building repairs at the courthouse. Completed the lettering project on the new police dive truck. They were working on all the ball fields for opening day for this weekend. And they did building repairs in the concession stand, which included the electrical panel, and with the help of Billy Key. So thank you, Billy, for donating your time for that. And that's the end of his report.
Thank you, Clerk Holder. Anybody else on the floor? Okay. Having heard that, we'd like to get into some resolutions. First one is going to be Resolution 81, which is local law number 1 of 2025, amending Article 3 of the Chapter 100 of the Village Code regarding exemptions for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Georgina?
Seconded.
Beth? All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 82.
Okay, resolution number 82 is a resolution adopting local law number 2 of 2025 titled Local Law Authorizing a Property Tax Levy in Excess of the Limit Established in the General Municipal Law. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Okay. Trustee Polari?
I'll second that.
Trustee Trezino? All aye.
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 Okay? Now, 83, you're gonna start
Okay,
here.
just go here.
Yeah.
Okay, this is resolution number 83 of 2024-2025, authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement with Interstate Waste Services for the 2025-2026 year in the amount of $480,000. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Second.
trustee Veth,
I'll second.
trustee Cellier, all aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 84 of 2024-2025, authorize the necessary budget transfers in water and general funds to close fiscal year 2023-2024. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
Seconded.
Cellier, trustee Veth, all aye?
Aye.
Okay, we're good for this one, right? 85? Yeah, we did the other one.
No, you just to adopt the budget.
Yep. Right. Okay. Resolution number 85 is to adopt the 2025-2026 village budget. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Okay. Trustee Trezino, trustee Polari, all aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Resolution 86 of 2024-2025 is authorizing the hiring of Joseph McNamee as a part-time groundskeeper at a rate of $18 an hour. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Veth,
I'll second that.
Trezino, all aye?
Aye.
Resolution number 87 is to separate the positions of village clerk and village treasurer. Kathleen is going to continue as village clerk. Holly Brown is going to take over the treasurer's position on June 1st, the beginning of our year. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Cellier,
Seconded.
Veth, all aye?
Aye.
Aye.
I got a little head. So Resolution 88, in fact, authorizes the hiring of Holly Brown as the village treasurer. Do I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Cellier, Polari, all aye?
Aye.
So, should I read it first, you think, or then go through it? But, you gonna read them all typically?
Oh, yes, well, read this part and then you can.
Yeah, okay, anyway, it's, resolution number 89 of 2024-2025 is a resolution of the Village of Greenwood Lake approving the following reorganization listing for 2025-2026 year. And I will read them before we vote. Deputy Mayor, Trustee Cellier, Police Department Liaison, Trustee Trezino, Building, Trustee Cellier, Municipal Waste, Mayor Howley, Trustee Vett, Zoning Board, Trustee Cellier, Village Code, Trustee Cellier, Recreation, Beach Programs, Trustee Vett, Library, Trustee Polari, Health and Wellness, Trustee Trezino, Community Organizations, Trustee Vett, Chamber of Commerce and School Board Liaison, Trustee Polari, Public Safety, Fire, Ambulance would be Trustee Trezino, Public Works, Trustee Vett, Economic Development, Trustee Cellier, Admin, Finance, Budget, Mayor Howley, Senior Citizen Liaison, Trustee Polari, Village Clerk, Kathleen Holder, Treasurer Holly Brown, Village Attorney Brian Nugent, Friedrich Nugent and McCarthy, ZBA Christopher Pavlaka from Friedrich Nugent and McCarthy, Labor Consultant Michael Richardson, Refuse Attorney Marianne Sadowski, Greenwood Lake Commission Jim Martin, Register of Vital Statistics Eileen Astorino, Acting Village Justice Peter Bartlett, Chaplain Father Rainer Santiago, Tax Assessor Deborah Urick, Court Clerk Robin Dunlap, Senior Citizen Director Colleen Riley, Official Newspaper Village Dispatch, Building Inspector Pete Hillebrand and Danielle Mulqueen and the office, Village Chief of Police Adam Iron, and as previously stated, our IT guru will be Trustee Vett. Do I have a motion?
Wait, you gotta read the board.
I'll make that
Hold
motion.
Hold on,
Hold
it's
on,
not done
stand
yet.
guy.
It was a two-pager, hold on.
I forgot to flip the page. Water Plant Operator, Long Pond Waterworks, Garbage and refuse, interstate waste, bank depository, Webster Bank. Official meeting dates, third Wednesday of the month at 6. Marriage officer, Mayor Howley, and historian Marilyn Hayden. Zoning board, 5-year, Robert Zimmer, chair. 4-year, Jenny Lyons. 3-year, Eric Helm. 2-year, Mariana Coccini. 1-year, Victor Ludmere. 2-year alternate would be Kevin McIntyre, and 1-year alternate will be Brian Cross. That concludes the reorganization. Do I have a second? Do I have a motion to adopt that?
Okay, Trevino,
Second.
Zelli, all aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for taking those responsibilities. Resolution number 90 of 2024-2025. Be it resolved that the village board of the village of Greenwood Lake authorizes the village clerk to refund half the water charge of account 310894 for water bill dated March 7. This is the first time this has occurred, and as our past history and policy has shown, that we will give relief. In order to get relief, the people did have to show that they had a leak, they addressed the leak, they fixed the leak, and we move forward. Okay? So this is pretty typical. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Beth. Larry, all aye.
Aye.
We're gonna do this one more time. I think resolution number 91. Be it resolved, the village board of the village of Greenwood Lake authorizes the village clerk to refund half the water charge of account 306114 for water bill dated March 7, 2025. Same scenario. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Beth,
Second.
Zelli, all aye.
Aye.
See, I spoke too soon. We do have one more. Is this the last one?
Yes.
Okay, this is resolution number 92, 2024-2025. Be it resolved that the village board of the village of Greenwood Lake authorizes the clerk to refund half the water charge of account 3091122 for the water bill dated March 7th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Beth, Larry, all aye.
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 And just to make it clear to the public out there maybe watching, if your water bill is exorbitantly high, you potentially could have leaks. Bear in mind that the onus is still on the homeowner, owner, renter to maintain your water. If you hear something, a toilet hissing or a sink dripping, don't just put it off. You would be very surprised to know how fast these things can get into the thousands of dollars. The meters work, so everyone does get that one opportunity to get relief. So truly pay attention to your water usage and your sinks and bathtubs and showers. If they're leaking, really fix them. It could cost you a lot of money at the end. And that's all I have in resolutions.
Mayor, before we
Yes,
move
sir.
on, we closed those public hearings. I didn't hear or see resolutions to adopt the local law for the ambulance exemption.
That was the first two ones that he did.
The first two.
They were the first two with the
Yes.
resolutions? Okay, sorry,
Yeah,
I missed
yes,
that.
yes.
I have
Yeah,
a different agenda.
we put it in, no, we put it on 81 and 82.
Got it. I just want to make
Okay.
sure.
Because we adopted them before the other thing, like you said.
Excellent, thanks.
Are we good, Brian?
Yep.
Okay, very good. Okay. I'd like to have a motion approval to pay all audited bills.
Make a motion?
Okay. All right. Trustee Polari, trustee Trezino, all aye.
Aye. I'd like to have a motion to accept the minutes of the March 12th, 2025 Village Board meeting and the April 4th, 2025 special meeting. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Okay, Selye.
Seconded.
Okay, Beth, all aye.
Aye.
We do not have any budget amendments, correct?
No.
And we are not going to executive session. The next regularly scheduled village board meeting is scheduled for May 21st at 6 p.m. with a workshop, followed by the general board meeting. I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at 7:20.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
Okay, trustee Beth? Trustee Polari? All aye?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Everyone have a safe evening, rest of your evening.